Registration of candidates for admission into Akwa Ibom State Schools of Nursing for the 2015 academic session has commenced. A statement from the ministry signed by the Director of Nursing Services, Mr. Ezekiel Akban, has advised interested candidates to purchase the forms from the Nursing Directorate, Ministry of Health Headquarters, Uyo, with a sum of 8,000 naira. The sales of entrance forms closes Friday, 3rd July 2015 at 9 a.m. The statement also advises candidates to appear with original copies as well as 2 photocopies of their educational certificates, First School Leaving Certificate, West African School Certificate, Senior Secondary School Certificate, General Certificate of Education, NECO, Testimonial, Birth Certificate or Age Declaration, Change of Name, if any, Certificate of Origin, and 3 recent color passport photographs. According to the statement, the entrance examination will take place on Saturday, 18th July 2015. A deputy director with the television service of the AKBC, Justice Udosoro, has charged pupils of Greenfield Schools, Ibiakban Akanawan, in Ikorekbane to take up journalism as a profession. Justice Udosoro gave the charge while conducting the pupils round the transmitting station at Ntayan. Ebuka Okafo reports.
On arrival, the pupils were welcomed by Mr. Justice Udosoro, head of AKBC, who urged them to be good students. He took time to explain the features of AKBC TV to the students. Mr. Udosoro, who took them around the TV newsroom, editing suits, explained the various functions of the units visited. He further told them that the AKBC TV has various directorates, which include the sports unit, current affairs unit, reportorial unit, and editorial unit.
So that when we finish making the news, it will be easy for us to walk into the studio and get the news done, because the process of making news is collective.
Mr. Felix Okam, head of reportorial, took the pupils round the transmitter's room, where he explained the main functions of the transmitters, which include sending out signals to various homes.
Fingers, that is the terminal point of the radio transmitter. Then the last one, that's the television.
The pupils also visited the control room and the main studio, where the operatives explained the workings of the equipment to the pupils. On the other hand, the Deputy Director, News and Current Affairs of AKBC Radio, Mr. Unyong Efere, welcomed the pupils to the radio newsroom and briefed them on the functions of each section, starting from the editor to the computer operators. Mr. Edem Efyong explained to the pupils functions of each equipment installed in the studio and the transmitter's room. Responding, the Deputy Head Teacher of Greenfield Schools, Ibiakban Awan Akanawam, Mrs. Idaroyan Akban, appreciated the management and staff of AKBC for providing their pupils an opportunity to see what and how AKBC has been doing, including activities and functions. She said that practical experience will help boost the knowledge of pupils on the working of AKBC. Ebuka Okafor, reporting for AKBC.
You're still watching AKBC 45 News at dawn. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.
This is a public service announcement. The government of Akwa Ibom State wishes to bring to the notice of visitors and residents of the state steps to take in preventing the incidence or spread of the deadly Ebola virus disease in Akwa Ibom State. The Ebola virus can be contacted through any of the following ways: contact with the body fluids of those who are visibly sick from the disease, contact with the corpse of somebody who died from the disease, contact with an animal that is carrying the virus, especially fruit bats and monkeys. Symptoms of this deadly disease include sudden high fever, persistent headache, diarrhea, vomiting, general weakness, joint and muscle ache, sore throat, chest pain, internal and external bleeding. To prevent this disease, wash your hands regularly with soap and water. Keep your environment clean and properly fumigate your surroundings if you have pests around. Report any suspicious symptoms in yourself or anyone to the nearest health facility immediately you notice them. Medical personnel should use personal protective equipment when handling suspected cases and corpses. Be careful when handling dead bushmeat. Spread the message. Tell your neighbors, colleagues, domestic staff, family members and friends. Akwa Ibom is safer when everyone is educated about Ebola. For more information, call the helplines 0812-769-8984, 0812-769-8959, 0812-769-8949. Ebola kills fast. Spread this message faster. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Communications, Akwa Ibom State.
Still watching the news, and I'm Samuel Udofia. As campaigns for the elections of the next president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists gathers momentum, the acting president of the union, Mr. Rotimi Obamuwagu, has visited the Akwa Ibom State Council to solicit their support in his quest to become the president of the union. Mr. Obamuwagu and his campaign team were received by the state chairman of the union, Elder Patrick Albert, and other executive members of the NUJ Press Center. Olubayo Akindele has more.
In his manifesto, Mr. Rotimi Obamuwagu said if elected the president, journalists across the nation will enjoy benefits such as standard insurance scheme, which will alleviate suffering in case of accident and death, welfare packages for journalists, attending to the plights of widows, build, operate and transfer housing scheme, as well as restructuring members' identity cards.
What I intend, we will make that insurance scheme free for all passenger journalists in Nigeria. We give them hope by so doing. We will give some financial assistance to each of these families.
The acting president, who described the State Council chairman, Elder Patrick Albert, as a man of talent and creativity who have put in place a solid and functional structure, appealed to the State Council to support him in his bid to become the president in the July 25 elections, assuring them of good leadership characterized by firmness and discipline. Responding, the State NUJ chairman, Elder Patrick Albert, thanked the presidential hopeful for the visit and assured him of Akwa Ibom State Council's support. He described the programs rolled out by Mr. Obamuwagu as rich and that it will help in taking the Nigeria Union of Journalists to enviable heights.
I also want to assure you that in Akwa Ibom State we know where to go and we do so very easily. Let me be quick to admit publicly that during the screening that we had with aspirants, you really came up tops.
Some of those in attendance bared their minds on what they expect from the incoming leadership.
Let the issue of ID card for members be within the tenure of that particular regime administration, that is 3 years for members.
But if you look at it, we have categories of women that are not married, not just for the widows. If we say it in vernacular, we have the Ebepa, the Ebesen, and the Ibomowan.
Olubayo Akindele reporting.
This year, the combined communion service of the Power of Jesus Church has been rounded off with a call on members to rededicate themselves to the service of God. The spiritual gathering took place at the church's headquarters, number 30 School Road, Abak. The story is here presented.
The church auditorium was filled with members from within and outside the state, including Port Harcourt and Benin City stations and visitors of the church. The excited congregation sang and danced to the glory of God, while the church choir rendered a piece. Combined communion service afforded members of the church from different stations in Nigeria to interact with one another as well as renew their strength in God by partaking in the communion section. The General Superintendent of Power of Jesus Church, Pastor James Peters, said the Prince of Peace had peace in the days of his earthly ministry by reason of his good works and walking in union with the Father, thus setting example for us to follow. Taking his text from the book of Matthew 26 verse 17 and Exodus 12 verse 12 on the theme, honor the blood of redemption, the clergyman said the blood of redemption is one that has sustained the eighth and Christian till death. The focus of Christian, he noted, should be the blood, stressing that even Satan is afraid of the blood of Jesus Christ. Pastor Peters further reminded the congregation that the blood is on earth to push forward, noting that any sin against the blood of Jesus is a sin against God.
He knows all the Christian world that have a shade in the blood. Paul believes giving to the blood is life. But it's a blood is life.
Blood is life. In an interview with AKBC 45 News, some members of the church, including Pastor Ambo, said the teachings at the service will further help them in their spiritual lives.
Most of it all, that the communion service is successful.
I don't think it's the truth, because that one has to do with ourselves. Because it's our lifestyle that will lead us to this heavenly moment we all aiming at.
That life without Christ is vanity. No matter what you do on earth and you don't have Christ, those things are vanity. I feel the impact of God and I feel God's presence.
Livingston Daniel, rape.
4 Nigerians have been recognized and celebrated at the 2015 edition of the Queen of England's Young Leaders Awards. Britain's monarchy is in Germany on a 4-day visit at the invitation of the President of Germany, Joachim Koch. These and more on our AKBC television, national and foreign news.
4 Nigerians were among 60 young people from 35 countries honored by the Queen of England at the 2015 edition of the Queen's Young Leader Awards. The award recognizes and celebrates exceptional people between the ages of 18 to 29 from Commonwealth nations who are taking the lead in their communities and using their skills to transform lives. Winners of the award will receive a unique package of training, mentoring, and networking, including a 1-week residential program in the UK, during which they will collect their certificates from the Queen. Nigerians award are Isaiah Owolabi, Koli, Nkechiku Azinge, and Oladipo Ajiroba. As the June deadline for bank verification number registration gets, the Nigerian Information System (NIBSS) has dispatched a proposal to the Bank of Nigeria on measures that will ensure that diasporans' interests are safeguarded. Nigerian account holders in diaspora had expressed worries over what will become of their accounts. Details of the NIBSS to CBN are yet to be stated. The NIBSS embarked the BVN, which involves biometric registration of account holders and the issuance of a number that will be used by account holders for transactions. The implications of the account who fails to register before the deadline are that they would lose access to their accounts. They would register. England and the Duke of Edinburgh are in Germany for a 4-day visit. The visit is Elizabeth's country. The British royals were received by Germany's President Joachim Gauck and his partner Daniela Skatz at the Bellevue Palace before boarding an open for a ride the Spree River. Queen Elizabeth was received by Chancellor Angela Merkel and later held a meeting. The Queen and the Duke will spend time in Berlin and Frankfurt before traveling to the site of the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp that was liberated by the British 70 years ago. The Queen's visit implies a warm relationship between Britain and Germany. Prime Minister of Britain, Mr. David Cameron, will be joining the monarchs in Germany and will also meet with Chancellor Merkel to try to renegotiate Britain's relationship with the European Union. According to documents released by WikiLeaks, which is an international non-profit organization that publishes classified information from anonymous sources, the United States had on French leaders Jacques Chirac, Nicolas Sarkozy, and François Hollande between 2006 to 2012. The President of France, Mr. François Hollande, said France will not tolerate acts that threatens its security and that the US must respect not to spy on French leaders. The US will not comment on the intelligence allegations. The United States National Security had previously been accused of spying on German Chancellor Angela Merkel and on Brazilian and Mexican leaders. Sanctions against Russia have been extended to Union foreign ministers until the end of January 2016. The EU sanction is Russia compared with the fire accord with Ukraine that was signed at the Minsk in February 2015. A year ago, sanctions were imposed on Russia for its annexation of the Ukraine Crimea Peninsula, as well as for separatists in eastern Ukraine. The sanctions against Russia included freezing of assets of some Russian companies and individuals, as well as travel bans against certain officials. While Russia feels the sanctions are illegal and unfounded, Ukraine Kremlin spokesman is condemning the extension of sanctions.
You can also watch AKBC News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45Uyo or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. And now to end the news, the top stories. A member of the State House of Assembly, Barrister Onofio Luke, has called on governments at all levels to stop poachers from excavating sites at the Calabar-Itu Highway. And as campaigns for the elections of the next president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists gather momentum, the acting president of the union, Mr. Rotimi Obamuwagu, has visited the Akwa Ibom State Council to solicit their support in his quest for becoming the president of the union. That's our package. Thanks for watching and have a great Thursday. Good morning.